From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Friday, July 24th. It is a fantastic Friday ahead, a beautiful start to the day. A little bit warmer than yesterday, but still in the 60s to start out. Going to be a high of around 79 to 80 degrees today. Sunny skies ahead. Get ready, though. Things are going to really start to ramp up, warm up, feel a lot more like summer, a little bit less like fall coming up this weekend. But get outside, enjoy it. It's going to be nice.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
We have new video capturing part of Wednesday night's deadly police shooting on the east side of Indianapolis. Police say one of the two officers wounded is now out of the hospital. News 8's Garrett Berquist talked to neighbors near the scene.
Neighbors tell me the shooting happened here on the street. They say this is the first time in several years the neighborhood has seen anything like this, and their camera caught the sound of those gunshots.
There's active shots being fired. East has a shooting, an officer shot.
Suspect down, I got him at gunpoint.
Those were the moments that left a man dead and two IMPD officers wounded. It all began around 10:15 Wednesday night when someone called to report a disturbance.
A 911 caller reported that a male involved was possibly armed with a gun. Officers arrived on scene and encountered a male outside. During the encounter, the male fired shots, striking two IMPD officers.
The Marion County coroner says the man was 21-year-old Dallas Jett. Neighbors did not want to talk on camera, but told me Jett had a dispute with a girlfriend. They say he was standing across the street from these homes with his hands in his pockets when police arrived. They say Jett did not take his hands out of his pockets when police told him to. Neighbors say officers grabbed his arms. That's when they say they heard the first shots. Police told me they cannot confirm any details while the investigation is ongoing. They say one officer is now out of the hospital. They say the other officer is still in the hospital but in stable condition. This is not the first incident this year in which someone shot at Indianapolis police. Another IMPD officer was hurt in a shooting near Broad Ripple in May. Someone shot at IMPD SWAT officers in February when they tried to make an arrest. Those officers were not hurt.
And this should not be okay or acceptable by our community or us. We cannot allow this kind of violence against our officers to become something normal. We have been here too many times this year already.
One neighbor says he's tired of seeing arguments lead to shootings.
I think that our young adults on today should try to find a better way to handle disputes than with a gun, you know, and that's what's going on today. It seems like it's so I would say, so easy for them to get weapons on today.
Police have not released any details about the officers' wounds or their identities. They say they will release updates as they become available. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
The state health department now says since May, there have been 684 cases of that bad stomach bug here in Indiana. That's up 99 cases from Wednesday. Federal health officials say they are also investigating a new outbreak of the parasite Cyclospora, while focused on lettuce from Taylor Farms as the possible source for at least one outbreak. In the past, the parasite has been linked to lettuce, bagged salads, fresh herbs, and other produce. Health officials recommend washing produce and contacting a doctor if you have severe diarrhea. The Carmel Fire Department is warning you to be safe when charging battery-powered devices after seeing more fires caused by electronics. If you have a drill, an e-bike, a scooter, or even a leaf blower, they may use lithium-ion batteries and charging equipment. Firefighters say a lot of people are leaving these things plugged in. Plus, a significant amount of these fires involve replacement batteries built by third-party manufacturers rather than the original brand.
So you have a brand name tool, and then you get on Amazon when the battery goes bad or you damage it, and you buy an off-market brand. So you really want to make sure that you're buying the same brand.
Firefighters say you should unplug electronics when they're fully charged, charge batteries according to the manufacturer's instructions, charge them in a well-ventilated area, and check batteries and chargers for damage often, and you should never use damaged ones. Happening today, the Trump administration is moving forward on a new round of tariffs on foreign goods. There are now 10% to 12.5% taxes on imports from 60 trading partners. Those partners account for 99% of U.S. imports. This comes as the previous 10% blanket tariff expired at midnight. The White House says these tariffs are allowed, even though the Supreme Court has struck down tariffs before. The administration says that's because the trading partners have inadequately enforced bans on goods produced by forced labor. A new study estimates tariffs have already cost the average household in Indiana nearly $2,600 last year. Researchers with the Midwest Economic Policy Institute and the University of Illinois say families in Indiana face some of the highest costs in the region, partly because our state manufactures they just rely heavily on imported parts and materials. The study estimates the new tariffs cost Indiana households more than $7 billion combined. Low-income families were hit hardest, with the added costs eating up a larger share of their income. This morning, a series of explosions broke out near a military base hosting U.S. forces in northern Iraq, hours after the U.S. military said it had wrapped up its 13th night of strikes against Iran. U.S. Central Command says these latest strikes were to diminish threats to commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the New York Times has reported that Tehran rejected a U.S. ceasefire proposal delivered by Iraq's prime minister, saying they do not want a temporary deal that leaves control of the Strait of Hormuz unresolved. Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg leads a new poll on who Americans think leads the Democratic field for president. According to a poll from Emerson College, he leads the national poll for the 2028 Democratic primary for president with 19%. Close behind is California's Governor Gavin Newsom with 17% and Senator John Ossoff of Georgia. On the Republican side, Vice President J.D. Vance leads with 39%, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio trails close behind with 38%. The Department of Justice has withdrawn subpoenas aimed at forcing New York Times reporters to testify about their anonymous sources. The subpoenas were dropped yesterday after a federal judge questioned prosecutors over filing errors. The subpoenas stemmed from New York Times stories on the safety of Trump's Qatari-gifted jet, Air Force One. The Times was asked by an FBI official to hold its first story. The official cited national security concerns. The FBI also asked the Times to disclose its sources for the article, which it refused to do, prompting those subpoenas. Sports now. Locally, practice for the Brickyard 400 starts today. The gates at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway open at 10 this morning. More than 70,000 fans are expected this weekend for the annual NASCAR Cup Series race, and the crowds in Speedway welcomed the trucks hauling the race cars yesterday. IMS says this year's Hauler Parade brought more than 500 people. Organizers say fans, both old and new, are what keeps the parade and the race going year after year. The green flag flies at 2:20 Sunday afternoon for the Brickyard 400 race. Second day of the NFL Flag Championship is underway in Westfield right now. It's the largest youth flag football tournament in the world. More than 350 girls and boys and flag football teams from around the world are competing in the tournament at Grand Park. It's the first year for the tournament that it's being held here in the Indianapolis area and the first in the NFL market. Competitors say they're excited about the experience both on and off the field.
We love the experience. It's been a nice experience so far. All these inclusive things for the athletes, like the player HQ.
Throughout the tournament, fans can expect to see the NFL's full collection of Super Bowl rings, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, local food, and more. The event runs through Sunday. Colts owner and CEO Carly Gordon is set to introduce former Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri at the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Her late father, former Colts owner Jim Irsay, introduced 3 Colts in their Hall of Fame inductions. The enshrined ceremony this time will be held on August 8th in Canton, Ohio. Former IU quarterback Fernando Mendoza has now signed a 4-year, $57.27 million fully guaranteed deal with a 5th-year option with the Las Vegas Raiders. Mendoza is the first player the Raiders drafted first overall since Jamaris Russell back in 2007. Former IU QB is set to compete for the Raiders' starting quarterback job with Kirk Cousins and former Purdue Boilermaker Aiden O'Connell. Fever entered the All-Star break with a 17-10 record, but there's another number star guard Caitlin Clark has to be worried about. She currently sits at 7 technical fouls, 1 more, and she'll have to sit out a game. The last tech came during Wednesday's blowout win against the Connecticut Sun. With the Fever up by 28 points, the Sun player started talking trash to Clark. She responded with one word: scoreboard. She was asked about the exchange after the game and where she's going to go from here.
She was guarding, she said she was locking me up, so I said scoreboard, and the ref didn't like that. But I mean, I'm never going to back down. And, I think it was the same thing with the way Kelsey was in the first half too. She got one in the eye. She's never going to back down from a moment. And I think just continue to try to control your emotions the best you can. And that intensity and that fire is what makes me me. But also knowing my team needs me and finding a good balance of that. But I don't think I'm going to be playing with that in the back of my head. I think that might hinder my play a little bit. So I think just continue to be myself and then just try to refocus to, focusing on my teammates and how I can help them.
I think the biggest thing is she knows. She has awareness about it. We'll try to help her when we can, but sometimes we can't. And if she wants to be strategic about which game she doesn't want to play, then she'll let her fly.
Clark is playing in the WNBA All-Star Game tomorrow. Tip-off is set for 8:30 p.m. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeaux. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com. Have a great weekend.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.